The first ever addressing to human being in the Quran is Surah Al-Baqarah, the verse number 21, the surah number 2, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Ya ayyuhan nas, O mankind, or in Tagalog o mga tao, o logo in Urdu, O mankind, worship your Lord, become the slave of your Lord who created you, so you will become pious. So that is the first commandment. Generally, and when you open the Quran, it is the first ever addressing to the human being. It doesn't say, oh, Arabs or Muslims or none at all, but it said, oh, human being, Ya Yunas, oh, human being. U'budu rabbukum alladhi khalaqakum. Become the slave of your Lord who created you. Because usually the u'budu or ibad or abd or abudu is usually translated as worship. But it is not the complete meaning. It is just a literal meaning or just a partial meaning. The meaning of abudu is to become the slave. Because the abudu word is come from word abd, and abd meaning is a slave. So when you become the slave of someone, what you do, you always follow his commandments. You cannot say no, you cannot say I don't like to do it now. I can do it next day or next time. Or I can do some commandments I can follow, but some I cannot follow. Example, if you hire a electrician and you tell him to work for the mason, he said, I cannot do it. You hired me only for electricity. Or if you hire a plumber and you tell him to do for the electric work, he said, I cannot do it, the electric work, because you hired me only for the plumbing. There is an employee. You hire someone for the time being, okay, you work with my company 8 to 5. Or you are hired here for 1 hour of my work. You will do this 1 hour, you work for me. Or usually you can have a contract, Pacquiao. Okay, you fix my electricity, you fix my faucet, or you fix my garage. So there is a time for a contract. But abd meanings in Arabic, the meaning of abd in English is slave, servant, full-time servant, or in Tagalog is alipin, which is 24 hours. 24/7. All your life, you're already a slave of someone. Now we choose to be slave of the God who created us, or we choose to be slave of people. We can become the slave of country. We can become slave of a system. We can slave of people. We can slave of a human being. We can slave of money. We can slave of our own self. Allah said, did you see a person? He make himself is his God. He himself is a God. He can follow what he likes. Halal or haram, good or evil, good or bad, anything he can do because he is himself is God. He wants to follow his own commandments all his life. But true ibadah of Allah, the true abd of Allah, the true slave of Allah, he is always willing to follow the commandments of Allah. What is that? What are the commandments of Allah? La ilaha illallah. There is no God except Allah. There is no one worthy to be worshipped except Allah. There is no one that we follow the commandments except Allah. If we follow the commands of our leaders or our parents, it is also actually the command of Allah. Because Allah commands us to obey our parents. But if our parents is commanding against the command of Allah, we are not obliged. We should not follow their command anymore. So worship only one God. Become the slave of only one God. That's the first commandment. Be good with our parents, be good with our wives, our children, our brothers, sisters, uncles, aunties, grandparents, or relatives, or friends, neighbors, and all the human beings. Helping to the poor, helping to the orphans, helping to all human beings. Speak the truth and not to lie. Be honest and not to cheat. Word of honor and not to break your words. These are the great commandments of God. Be justice and not to be injustice. Be kind and not to be cruel. Be charitable and not to be uncharitable. Be generous and not to be niggard. Be kind and not to be cruel. Be loving and not to be person who hate people. Always give the testimony, the true testimony, and not to the false testimony. Be straightforward and not to be hypocrite. Be merciful and not to be hard person. So we have these great commandments of God which we need to follow, and that is the purpose of our life. Our purpose of our life is only one. The simple language. We need to follow the commandments of our God, so you will be saved from the hellfire. This is what Allah said in the Quran. Ya yunasu abudu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum walladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. O mankind, worship your Lord, become the slave of your Lord who created you. Not just He created us, He is growing us. We are a child, and then He grows a big man, and He's feeding us, and He's sustaining us, and He's protecting us. Even the sun can destroy us, but He's protecting us with the layers above us, the 7 layers. So He is our master, He is our sustainer, He is our cherisher. He is the one who loves us most, and He is the one who takes care of most. So He deserved that we should worship Him, and He deserved that we should follow His commandments all of our life. Alhamdulillah alladhi nahmadu wa nasta'inu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkulu alayhi wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina wa man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlil fala hadiya lahu wa nashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa nashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu wa iz qala lahu rabbuhu aslim qala aslamtu li rabbil alamin. When his Lord said to him, to Ibrahim, to Prophet Ibrahim, aslim, submit to the commands of Allah, he said, I submitted to the commands of Allah. And what is the commandments of Allah given to him? We can put aside all the commandments of God to Prophet Ibrahim, God gave to Prophet Ibrahim. We can only discuss the one commandment. We can understand that what is the meaning of commandments of Allah. For example, Allah commanded to Prophet Ibrahim, for test him, slaughter your son. Allah commanding to Prophet Ibrahim, and he is want to check what is the response of Prophet Ibrahim when Allah is commanding him to slaughter his son. For example, if Allah command me, go and slaughter your son, I cannot do it. I will rather fall on the in sajda, I'll put my head on the floor, and I will keep on crying to Allah, Allah, take back this commandment from me. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. It is the greatness of the Prophet Ibrahim who is willing to slaughter his own son. We are very weak people. We are not, our iman is not like the iman of the prophets. The Prophet Ibrahim, he did not say, I'm sorry Allah, please give me one chance. Don't let me do this to slaughter my son. I cannot do it. Please forgive me. No, he said, Allah, I'll do it. He brought his son, and he also want to slaughter his son with his own hands. And that was his only son that time, Ismail. And he's willing to slaughter him. And Allah did not allow the knife to slaughter his son. Allah commanded the knife not to slaughter his son. Rather, Allah sent the sheep, and He let him to slaughter that sheep and to become the feast, which we are celebrating, Eid al-Adha. So meaning of following the commandments of Allah, it's something great. Fajr time is a very, very great commandment of Allah. In all the salah, the most important is the Fajr salah. When we are sleepy and we don't like to get up from the bed. And now I will say, no, I should stand up because Allah commanded me to stand up now. And that's Allah loves it. Allah wants to see that how loyal we are, how obedient we are, how loving we are to Allah. So Fajr time is a test for us. When you can wake up from the bed, stand up, I'll pray now. Even I'm sleepy, I don't want to sleep anymore because Allah commanded me to wake up for Fajr. That is the meaning of following the commandments of Allah. Try to see in your life. You're very hungry and you cannot find the food halal. You know that is not halal and this is haram because it's not slaughtered. It's with blood, it's with dirtiness. And you say, no, I'll not eat it because it's haram. I will sacrifice until I will get the clean food, the halal food, and I eat. Then you can show to Allah that Allah loves you very much. A person has a girl in his life, but they are not married. But he will not do any relation with her until he get married to her. Because Allah commands us to get married and not to have a relation without marriage. So all the life we get something to prove Allah that Allah, I love you and I want to follow your commandments for your sake. And that is a test for us. If you fail that test, then you failed your life and you're going to hellfire. And if you pass that test, then you are passed in your life. You can go to paradise. May Allah guide us.